Whoa. Strange things are afoot in 2020. And now we're looking at buying cars online. In this video, we're going to see if buying a car online is excellent or totally heinous. I'm Franklin Chogan. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit that thumbs up button. In all seriousness, guys, I really hope this video is helpful for you. I just bought a car online without visiting a dealership, without test driving. Just went online, bought a car. It's in the driveway now. So I want to tell you what I had to do to make this process happen, what was good, what was bad, where there were some deficiencies in the process, and where there were some really awesome parts that I think would really be beneficial for you. We'll take a look at what services are out there, which one I chose to use, and then how you can find yourself the best deal as you're going through the process. Let's jump right into it. I want to be as comprehensive and deep here as I can to help make sure you have a great experience buying a car online if that's what you choose to do. Now, there's three real options out there for you if you're considering buying a car online, especially during the pandemic. There's been a move away from dealerships, especially with the risk of contamination and the spread of the virus. So we're going to look at the three ways you can buy online and have a vehicle delivered right to your door. I'll tell you very detailed what I had to do for the route that I chose. I have all three sites open here. Let's take a quick look at each of them. I'll talk to you about just some general things and then why I chose Vroom for myself, and then what the very detailed process is there. First, you have Carvana. This is the one that you've probably heard of the most. They're a little bit more of the pioneer in this space, and they do have quite a bit of availability nationwide. They have the big vending machines off of the highways in some of the bigger metropolitan areas. It's an interesting choice. Carvana is a little bit more mature and has a bigger market share here, so they are really moving towards being profitable. And so because of that, you aren't necessarily going to find as good at deals with Carvana as you might find with one of the other two that we look at, because they have more of the market share in this online car buying process. So that's important to note. They have a big selection. They have good partnerships for financing, quality vehicles, but what you get on your trade and what price you pay might not be as strong as some of these more up-and-coming ones. I quoted my trade-in with Carvana, and they were about $1,500 less than what I was offered with Vroom. So as an example. And then also, when I looked at the vehicle pricing, they weren't as competitive. Next, I'll look at Shift. Shift is a little bit smaller. I think they're more out here in the West Coast. I hadn't really heard of them until I started researching this purchase. And so I learned a little more. It seems like, okay, they started in the Bay Area. They've spread more to like Sacramento. I live in the Reno area, so Sacramento is just right over the hill, and I go there pretty often. So it was one I was thinking about considering. Their vehicles seemed to be a little bit maybe older, more mileage, and then their selection wasn't as strong as Carvana or Vroom. And the other thing too that was maybe a little bit of a turnoff on Shift was also on the trade-in. It seemed like they weren't quite as strong either. I do see from the technology they have and everything that they could be an up-and-coming player. And so in your own search, they're one you might want to consider. But for now, I think they might be a little bit too small, and they might not have the variety that you're looking for. And then finally, let me go to Vroom here. Vroom is who I chose and who I'm going to talk about for the majority of this video, because I want to let you know what my exact experience was like and what you can do to maybe make it easier on yourself, or what to at least be prepared for, because there were a few hiccups along the way. So Vroom is making a big push. You'll see a lot more of their advertising now. They're trying to grab up a lot of this share. Carvana is the leader right now, but there's still a lot of room here in this space, and it's growing a ton because of the way that buying habits have shifted during the pandemic. So there's a lot of opportunity there, and they're being really aggressive. So again, on my trade-in, they offered about $1,500 more, and on the vehicle I ended up purchasing, this is really key. I found the vehicle here, the exact same year, make, model, trim, and 10,000 miles more mileage than the Vroom vehicle here at a local dealership, and it was $3,000 more. So on Vroom, the vehicle that I ended up buying was $3,000 less, 10,000 fewer miles, and the dealer fees on Vroom are significantly lower than what you would pay at your local dealership, about like $200, versus if you go to a local dealership that's going to charge you $400 or $500. Now you do have to pay the shipping charge, but it does get delivered right to your door, and if you have a trade-in, they pick it up right from your door. You don't have to hassle with any of the dealership issues of going in and the high pressure sales tactics and all of that. So it does have a lot of benefits. I was able to find something that I was really happy with there, that I had driven one before. So I bought a 2019 Kia Optima. I had test driven one in 2017. It's the same, the trim and everything that I had been in before. So I was comfortable with the vehicle already, and I've had one as a car rental before. So I felt like it would be something I would be comfortable with without having a test drive option. This is the really key thing you need to understand when buying a vehicle online. You are not going to get to test drive it first. It's going to get to you, and you basically are just accepting it. Now, they do have return policies, but the return policies have some conditions to where you have to either pay shipping, or if you trade the vehicle in, you have to buy another vehicle from them or whatever. So you want to be really sure that this is the vehicle that you want. So you might even consider test driving something locally first. But if you know what vehicle you want, you know what features you want, and you already have that in your mind and you have that focus, I'm sure you can find a better deal here than you would from your local dealership. So it's a really easy process online. Let me show you what you should do, and then let me show you also how you can find the features you want, because the search online for all three of these sites isn't that great. Their searches, their internal searches aren't that great. But let me show you first what you can do here on the website to find that vehicle. So if I just say here in my search that I want to buy on the Vroom homepage a Kia Optima, you'll see these pop up. I can just click on it and then find your car, and it'll show me everything here that they have available. The thing I don't like on the website is what filters they have for you. They really only have make and model, you search here, body type, you can filter on color, year, price, mileage, engine and drivetrain. There's no ability to search by feature. That really is limiting when you're on the website. For me, when I was doing the search, I didn't really care about the make and model so much as I cared about a very specific feature. I have a really long commute. I drive about 75 miles each way to work. So I want to have the lane keeping and adaptive cruise control, because it helps me to just not have to be as zoned in and feel as tired on my drive. So I really wanted those features. I didn't have a way to filter for it on the website. But I found a really cool trick you can do. If you go search Vroom Car Gurus, and then here, go to this very first one where it says Stafford, Texas, and then you'll see this is the Vroom landing page on Car Gurus. So this allows you to use all of their search filtering, but looking at Vroom's vehicles. This was awesome because now I can go in here and they do have the ability to search by feature. So if I go and I look, then I can say, okay, here's features. I want adaptive cruise control, and boom, I can do that. And then if I only want to see what they consider a great deal, then I can go up here and I can find what they have available. Then you can also kind of sort by price and do all those other normal search features. Maybe I want to say I just want the lowest price first. And you can see, okay, so this Escape has adaptive cruise, Mazda, Honda, so on. You can see they have the full variety of brands you would expect. They have luxury vehicles, they have more basic vehicles, whatever you might be looking for. You can look through and maybe there's something that's in the good deal range that's also worth considering. So I can look and see, oh, hey, look, here's a Sentra that has adaptive cruise that's only 12.9, or this Passat. It's worth playing around with here to sort of find what vehicle fits within the parameters you want. But it's really helpful to search on the Car Guru's page to find the features that you want. So that's what I did. Once I found the vehicle I wanted, so say I'm looking here and, okay, this Passat looks good, has the features I want, then I can go from here. I can see the vehicle, and then I can just click right on the Vroom link there, and it will link in Vroom the vehicle, the exact vehicle. So then here I can go and I can start the purchase from here if it's something I want to do. Doing the search and starting the transaction and application here is the easiest part of the process. So all you do you have a car to trade in? If you hit yes, it's going to tell you, okay, I need this information. So you'll put in VIN, mileage, all those details, and then it will generate out for you a quote. And that quote is going to be pretty strong. Make sure if you have a trade-in, do it here. You can probably get a better price than you would at any other dealership. You might get more on a private party sale, but again, those can be sort of hard to transact and require a lot of work. You can also say, no, I don't have a trade-in, and then hit save and continue. And when you do that, it's going to prompt you to create an account with Vroom, which you'll need to do to be able to continue. The next step is it will ask you how you want to pay. Do you want to pay in cash, or do you want to finance? If you finance through Vroom, they will handle all of your registration paperwork. If you finance outside of Vroom, then you're not going to get that benefit. So it's one of those things you might want to weigh. But I will say that Vroom has really good financing partners. One that they use is Capital One, who I really like, and that's who I use. So really just take a look there at what options they have available for you. But the application process is really simple and straightforward if you do want to finance through them. Next, if you are continuing, they will probably have someone call you to get additional information for insurance purposes. If you did have a trade-in, to get more details there. On that closure here of this process, after you've made your decision and everything, you do have to put a $500 deposit in. If it doesn't continue, you'll get the refund, but as you go forward, otherwise it just goes forward as like a down payment towards the vehicle. Any other documentation they require, you'll provide as well. After that, once you get everything approved, then you're going to have a set of documents you have to sign just like you would at the dealership, but they're going to give you a bunch that you can docu-sign online. You'll just do the e-signature. Depending on your state, you might have to wet sign. So I actually have a piece of paper that you physically sign. So if that's the case, they will overnight you the documents. You'll sign them, and then you'll overnight them back, and it comes with the postage paid label for you. There's no hard sell on any of the extra products like you would get at a dealership. They do have them available, and they'll talk to you about them, but they're not going to be pushy, hard salespeople on you. They're not commission-based or anything, so you don't have to worry about that high-pressure situation. When you're looking at the prices, you'll be able to tell what a good price is, especially if you're comparison shopping. And the prices that they have are really solid, especially if you compare with your local dealerships. And depending on your market, like this market here in Reno, it's really hard to find good deals on vehicles because it's so limited. And it's a growing city, but the number of dealerships haven't really increased. So they have a lot of power to keep prices really elevated. So if you're in a similar market like that, you can really save a lot of money by using a service like Vroom. Now, after you go through all of this process and you get your paperwork back in and everything, then you're going to find that it can be a challenge on the communication. So this is where things that were really easy up front, the phone call up front was easy, getting the paperwork in was really straightforward, but then this is where I kind of faced this roadblock per se. From the time that the application went in until they were able to arrange the pickup for the trade was about a week or so. And this is really important to note. They come and pick up the trade before they deliver the vehicle to you. If you are going to trade in a vehicle with Vroom, expect to have 2 to 4 weeks of your trade being gone and you not having a vehicle. So this is exactly what happened to me. Fortunately, I was in a position where we have more than one vehicle in our house, so it wasn't a problem. But if this is the only vehicle you have, don't do it. You're going to have a lapse there. So unless you feel like renting a car in that period or can borrow a car from a friend, that's the big challenge because there's such a turnaround there. They'll have someone more local come pick up your trade in, but the vehicles themselves are all in their sort of central locations. So my vehicle was coming from Texas. And so Texas to Nevada is a pretty long journey. Plus, they still had to get everything all squared away, arranged with the carrier and everything. So it ended up taking about 3 weeks after my trade in for the car to arrive here to me, but it was delivered to my home. Now, I will say when it was delivered to my home, there's a little snafu there with the delivery to where they delivered it to the grocery store down the block, so I had to go over there and meet them. But I did get it. The vehicle itself was great, in great condition. There were a few little minor dings or scratches, but Vroom is very transparent. They show everything on the website. So when you're looking at your pictures, they're going to show the dings, they'll show the dents, the imperfections. They're all right there. The Carfax is there. So you can trust that what you see is what you get, and they're not trying to hide anything. And so that was really comforting. After that vehicle finally gets to you, depending on your state, you're going to have various policies and things that you're going to have to follow and do. So for me, for instance, the Department of Motor Vehicles here in Nevada has some specific requirements for when you get a vehicle out of state. So if you get a vehicle from out of state, you have to take it to either the DMV or to your local police station, and they have to fill out a DMV form verifying the VIN number and the mileage, and it has to be signed off by an officer. I live right by the police station, so for me that wasn't too bad. And then I had to go get the vehicle smogged in the state here, even though it passed smog. When the vehicle was traded in there. Here in my state, I had to get it smogged. So those were 2 steps I had to have. They do collect your taxes as part of the finalization of the transaction. So they will submit your taxes, and then you'll have the registration on the back end. Now, here's the thing on the registration. They give you temporary registration good for 2 months. Why? Because they are incredibly slow on the registration. So I've had the vehicle in my possession now for almost 3 weeks, and the registration paperwork still hasn't been completed. I just got 2 days ago confirmation that they've submitted it, but I don't have plates. I don't have the tags or any of that in my possession yet. So I'm still waiting. So the one thing I would say is just be prepared for this to be a long process. That being said, $1,500 more on the trade, $3,000 less on the actual purchase price of the vehicle. Saved about $400 on the dock fees, but that was consumed by the shipping charge that was about $600. So sort of a wash there. But really, overall, for me, purchasing this vehicle from Vroom versus at a local dealership saved about $4,000. In that regard, I think it's been worth it. In summary, buying a vehicle online can save you money, but it does come at the expense of a little bit more of a drawn out process. If you need something immediately in the short term, you're still probably better served going to the dealership. But as this technology and these companies grow and mature further, this is only going to become an even better alternative for you to save money and get a good vehicle right to your door. Be excellent and subscribe to the channel.